Today we're getting trigger happy, and you just happen to be staring down the barrel of our Danganronpa review. Now you gotta ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? Hello and welcome to another thrilling episode of The Game Dover. Once again, I'm your host Derrick Dover, and today we're going to be taking a look at the latest game from Spike Chunsoft, Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. Jeez, these Japanese titles just don't get any easier to pronounce, do they? So let's start from the basics. How do you pronounce this game? The easy answer is to use Japanese phonetics to break down this title to make it a bit easier to digest. Minasan, 繰り返してください。Danganronpa. Danganronpa. Danganronpa? Danganronpa. Danganronpa? Danganronpa じゃ、このたわけ者。Danganronpa. Danganronpa is freaking nuts. Try to imagine an interactive anime comedy that is a cross between Battle Royale, Saw, and A Few Good Men, and you'll start to get an idea of what this game is like. Basically, Danganronpa is a murder mystery that surrounds a group of every cliché anime character you can think of. The ultimate baseball star, the ultimate martial artist, the ultimate pop sensation, and so on. So the premise. Each of these students is accepted into the most prestigious school in all of Japan, and they all go on to live happy, successful lives, right? Of course not, silly goose. Not only do the students find themselves trapped in the apparently abandoned school with no chance of escape, but they're then thrown into a game of life and death, all orchestrated by none other than the deranged, malicious, sadistic, and strangely adorable headmaster, Monokuma. Is that a bear? Why, yes it is. Have I lost you yet? Hang on there, buckaroo. There's more. Why are the students there, and how do they escape this sick game?
There's only one way to graduate from this school, boys and girls. Murder!
That's right. The only way to escape this twisted game is to murder another student. Smashing, smothering, skewering, slitting, severing, slaying, shooting, stabbing, or squishing. So many choices, so little time. The trick? You also have to get away with it. This is where the game really begins. But first, can someone even tell me what this game is?
Bonjour, hello and welcome to Vita Home Cooking with Jacques. Of course, I am your Savory Chef Jacques, and today we are going to be making a simple Danganronpa recipe with a lot of flavor. First, you're going to start off with the courtroom action of Ace Attorney, add a dash of shooter, and of course some dance beats for flavor. Then you're going to marinate this in a creamy virtuous last reward, and top it off with a pinch of personal relationship building for flavor, and voila! C'est magnifique!
Okay, so maybe it's a bit more complicated than I let on, but this gaming dish is quite the culinary experience. The world of Danganronpa is bright and beautiful on the Vita, and the art direction is wonderfully unique. The in-game environments and all its characters are done in a sort of pop-up book design that really complement the visual novel style. This style is even utilized within the cutscenes, which make everything blend together perfectly. The story of Danganronpa is an absolute blast. I had an amazing time talking with all the characters and listening to all the great voice acting. Now, I should also mention that I played this game using the original Japanese audio with English subtitles. The Japanese cast is brilliant and so funny. For me, having the Japanese audio is an essential part of the experience. While the story and cases can sometimes be a bit obvious, there were occasions where I was genuinely thrown for a loop. One case in particular ripped my heart out, stabbed me in the back, and broke my faith in humanity. One of the things that this game does so well is that it quickly teaches you that you cannot trust anyone or anything, and that really sets a great mood for the entire experience. The gameplay in Danganronpa is a lot of fun. Courtroom battles are creative, clever, and keep the game fresh by changing things up with a variety of activities like memory puzzles, deductive reasoning, literally shooting down arguments, rhythm battles, and so much more. The class trials will really keep you on your toes. While Danganronpa does have a lot going for it, it's not without its faults. One of the biggest issues I have is with the gameplay within these trials. There are times when you will have to counter people's arguments or figure out which statements are conflicting to the facts of the case. This is usually a lot of fun, but it can occasionally be a pain as arguments and evidence you have to use may not be as clear or can be interpreted in multiple ways. you may have to counter a particular statement, and while there are several choices that fit logically, you will be punished if you choose the wrong one.
You may think you have a reasonable argument, but you can't argue with an inanimate object. The game does not respond to screaming, cursing, threats of violence, or pleading your case before the Vita. Believe me, I tried.
Another small issue I have revolves around your closing arguments of the case. At the end of each trial, you will have to visually piece together the events of the murder by placing missing pictures into blank spots on a storyboard. This is a very cool idea, but one that can be frustrating at times due to ambiguous pictures that are unclear as to what they actually depict, so you'll occasionally just have to take your best guess. However, neither one of these issues ruin the game. In fact, Danganronpa is very fair about allowing you multiple chances to find the correct answer. But these issues can be a little annoying, especially if you're a perfectionist like I am and you're aiming for a flawless trial run. In the end, Danganronpa is a great game that is definitely worth your attention. You will love, hate, worry, hope, deliberate, and writhe in desperate hopelessness in your search for an escape and the truth. You want the truth? What? You feel entitled to the truth?
You can't handle the truth.
Sorry about that. So, I did have a few minor issues, but they're nothing that will pull you out of the story or sour your experience. This is a twistedly hilarious, over-the-top game with an intriguing narrative and a lot to offer. Bottom line, Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc is a killer experience and a fiendishly great time.
And that's going to do it for our review of Danganronpa. Seriously, if you have a PS Vita and you haven't played it yet, check it out. It really is awesome. If you have any comments or questions about it, feel free to let us know in the comment sections below on our site and on YouTube. You can always email us at thegamedover@gmail.com and hit us up on Facebook and Twitter at TDZdaily and me at Derrick Dover. Until next time, that's Gamed Over.